while we go ahead and give everyone a minute or two to get logged in, I'll introduce myself. I am Dan Coakley. My title here at MGT is National Sales Manager, and all that really means is I've learned how to make a living telling insurance puns. Um, so super excited to be connected with you all. I will be completely honest and say this little block of time, this 30, 45 minutes on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern time, one of my favorite times during the entire week. This is where we get to slow down for a second, connect with all the people who we talk to all week, who we're super excited to be working with, share a little bit of our story, answer any questions you might have, and hopefully make your days a little bit easier going forward.
Awesome. My name's Annalise and I work in customer and broker success here at MGT Insurance. So I'm a great person to just keep my contact information. If you have any questions or concerns about your policies or quotes, I'll be the person to contact. I'm also going to drop our email and our support phone number in the chat here so you can have that. But we also have a new feature on our website. It's the chat bot. So if at any time you have any questions, you can get in the chat and ask any questions. And then another feature that I'll highlight here soon is our appetite agent, Amy, and she's a great tool to use so that you can learn MGT's appetite. You can ask what kind of classes we write and whether or not we have coverage in the area. She's really set up to answer any sort of appetite questions.
I'll introduce myself too. I might as well. I'm Sean Halleran. I'm a web developer here at MGT and I work in marketing here as well. So yeah, excited to be here on the webinar. Take it away, Dan.
Sean is completely underselling himself here. Go to our website, mgtinsurance.com, and click on the little night mode moon icon. That is all his brain right there. And it's super cool. I mean, you could use that as a screensaver. Maybe I do. You never know.
So let me get this screen started up here. I did just put the contact information in the chat. If you folks have any questions at any point, definitely feel free to put the information in the chat and either Dan or Sean will interrupt me. So again, at any point, go ahead and answer any questions. So I'll jump straight into the quoting platform. Here at MGT Insurance, I've already logged in. So all you folks should see something similar when you log in. It's going to give you a welcome message right here. It's going to show you where you can start a quote. Before I jump into the quote, I'm just going to show just how agents have their quotes and their policies in their platform. So anytime you start a quote in MGT Insurance, it's going to be saved right here in the quotes tab. So you see right here, there's a quotes tab and a policies tab. I'm in the quotes tab right here. You'll see all these quotes that I've started. I have about 3 pages worth of quotes. So anytime I start a quote, start a new quote, leave a quote, it's still going to be there for me to pick up right where I left off. After I make a quote into a policies, it's going to move into my policies tab right over here to the right. And you'll see here that I have 3 policies. All agents have the ability to see their own quotes and their own policies in their portal. If you have a larger team or if you have somebody who helps you like a support rep or something, they have the ability to have their own profile MGT Insurance. They won't have the quoting ability that we see right here, but they're going to have the ability to assist you in your quotes and policies, assist in getting certificates of insurance, assist in billing information, things of that nature. So if you need a customer service rep, let us know and we can assist and get you those. I'm going to go ahead and jump straight into the quoting process here. And we're going to start right up here where it says start a quote. So one thing that we like to pride ourselves on is ease of use and technologies and speed. So right away, I know I need to quote a tanning salon. So I'm going to type in the word tanning. And I'm going to see here, I'm going to get a red message. It's letting me know that this class is ineligible. If at any point during your quoting process at MGT Insurance, you get this red text, that's your indicator to know that's going to be out of our appetite and you could go ahead and take this quote elsewhere. We don't want to put you through the whole quoting process just at the end to tell you it's not going to be a fit for us. We really want to protect your time. So we're going to let you know right up front whether something is an appetite or not. Our quoting process is pretty straightforward. Once you do it once or twice, you'll probably be a pro. You'll see here that I'll go through this pretty quickly, but again, please interrupt if you have any questions. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of go over some of the classes that we're really set up for. So if you have any sort of doctor exposures, think doctor's offices, medical offices, things of that nature, we're a really great fit for. and then also professional offices. So we can think like taxidermists or legal services, things of that nature are really set up for. We're finding a lot of success in salons. So think barbershops, hair salons, nail salons, things of that nature. So for this quote, I'm going to jump into a nail salon quote. I'm going to do the first half here so you can see how the quote starts. And then I'm going to cut back a little bit to just jump into a quote that I've already started. So we're going to go this nail salon, and then I'm going to go ahead and type in the address. Making sure you have the correct address at the start of the quote is very important because that's where we're already starting to do all of the scoring and detailing on the back end so that we can get a quote to you as quick as possible. So you'll see here that I've typed in this nail salon, and we use Google Maps. So you'll see that I can see nails right here. So this is the business that I'm looking to insure. I want to make sure that the roof looks fine. There's no cracks in the sidewalks, just making sure that you have a good risk for us here to quote, and then making sure that we're quoting the right business. You can select whether or not you want to insure the buildings of your location. We do offer property coverage for sort of standalone businesses or businesses that are owned. But for this quote, I'm going to go ahead and select no building coverage. And then we're going to say right here whether or not we own this right here. And I'm going to go ahead and say no for this quote. Again, these are things that we do offer coverage for. The quote will expand depending on how much information we feel that we need. But for the ease of this quote, I'm going to make it pretty simple for you folks. And so then I'm going to go ahead and start the quote here. And this is the 4-step process that we have in our quoting. Step number 1 is gathering all the basics of the business organization. So if you guys can just hold with me for one moment, I'm going to cut back into a quote here that I've already filled everything out for. And that's going to be for this Blue Ocean Nail. So it's definitely that business that I just showed you guys, the same address and everything. And so I'm jumping right back into the quote here, back at step 1, the basics of the organization. So right away, all this information that we're capturing from you folks, we feel like that's all the information that we need to get you a solid quote. So we're just going to make sure we have the number of the organization, the web address, estimated gross sales, business owner information. It's really important that we put in the correct business owner information and a phone number that we could contact them at. If for whatever reason we need to get in contact with your policyholder, we want to make sure that we have a correct phone number. I found here that sometimes we're putting just random numbers here or business phone numbers, not necessarily the business owner's phone number. So if we have that information, it's helpful. And then here at MGT Insurance, we can insure up to 4 total locations, so your primary locations, and 3 additional if that's what we had needed for property coverage. So I'm going to go ahead and select continue here, and we're going to continue grabbing more information about the organization. When do we want coverage to begin? At MGT Insurance, right as of right now, we don't have same-day buy-in. So if I needed this policy for this nail salon today, what I would need to do is select it to be for tomorrow, have it paid today so that the coverage starts tomorrow. So just if there's timing in that, just keep that in mind that we can't do same-day binds, but if you pay for it one day, it'll be available the next day if you need it that quickly. Right here, we are going to cover more about the organizations. We can cover up to 100 employees in a single organization. For this nail salon, we just have 6, but we can do up to 100. And then here, we're also asking about previous insurance information. This is an area that sometimes gets triggered to underwriting. So let's say if there was a lapse in coverage or if there was more than 2 claims, it's likely that that's going to get referred at the end of the quote, but what's still going to be something that we're going to take a look at and consider. Just like to highlight that for folks. Awesome. So I've already completed, oops, it's just taking me back to say step 2. It's gonna take me back through. I don't want to click away. I don't want to lose our place here. So just give me one moment. Awesome. Now I'm going to jump into step 3 right here. I'll actually make sure I have the correct one. No, step 2 here.
Oh,
So right
we've
here.
got a question in the chat for you from Chris.
Oh,
Would you
awesome.
for multi-occupancy buildings and offices?
So if it is multi-occupancy, it's going to be a little bit out of risk right now. So we're only set up for a single occupant, single business. So sometimes there are things like a dentist office that also has offices on the side that we've seen recently that he rents out that space. That's not going to be an appetite. That's going to fall under lesser's risk, but it is something that we're looking to expand into. Great question. So here at step 2, we're going to be asking about the organization's activities. If it's a home-based business, are we open after 9? Do we operate seasonally? These are kind of the underwriting questions that we feel like if you answer correctly to these and it fits within our appetite, we're going to go ahead and just move it forward without seeing an underwriter referral. Home-based businesses are something that is an appetite for us, but the home-based business has to be really distinct. So the things that we like to see are kind of like accountants or legal services, somebody who just doing work in their office and doesn't have anybody coming in. But let's say we have like a hair salon or a nail salon, it's a home-based business, that's going to fall under stricter underwriting guidelines. So think along the lines of needing to have a separate sink, needing to have a separate entrance and exit so that the customers are not using anything within the home. So it is with an appetite, but it's going to be a little bit stricter of underwriting guidelines if it is a home-based service business. And then one thing I'd like to highlight that if you're doing some sort of business who likes to have a Valentine's Day special event or Christmas special event, we can co-sponsor special events if you know they do it every year. You can do that right within the policy. You don't need to come do that later if that's something that the business does. Right here, this question, FDA regulation, we just want to make sure that anything that is sold within the business or any of the tools or products that used within the business do fall under FDA regulations. And then right here, we're just agreeing, just making sure you agree to all the information that you've provided here. And like I mentioned, our goal is to really get these quotes to you in a bindable state. So we want to get as many through without underwriting referral. And that's why we're asking all these questions. Right here, you'll see that this is a BPP only quote. We're asking about the location. What does it look like? Are there automatic sprinklers? If there are automatic sprinklers within a business, we do offer a little bit of a discount for that. And then the total amount of business personal property in the building. If we had additional buildings, you'll be able to do that information right over here. And then we're going to go ahead and click continue. If there's any additional insureds that you know from the beginning, if they have to add a manager, property manager, or if they lease equipment, this is somewhere you can do that right away within the quote. And that way, when the policy is bound, all that additional insured information is within the policy and you can create certificates of insurance as you need. If you find that after the fact you bound the policy and you actually do need to add a couple of additional insureds, that's where that support at email comes in handy. Or we also have an endorsement support form that you can use. Fill out that form, it'll get straight to us and the underwriter, and we'll go ahead and make those changes and get back in contact with you. If somebody on the team can get that endorsement form link, that way they could have it and save it for future needs. And then we're going to go ahead and click continue. And we're almost at the end of this quote here. We're going to go to step 4, which is going to be optional coverages. So since this is a nail salon, I did select professional liability here. We also have hired and non-owned auto. This is something that we do offer within the policies, but something that I learned recently in the state of Illinois, the hired and non-owned auto is not an option through ISO form. So there are some nuances depending on which states you're in, but for the most part, these are all of the optional coverages that we provide. If you decide you don't want any of these optional coverages, you do have to select right here, no thanks, you continue without these coverages. So for this quote, since I did select the professional liability, it's just going to ask me a little bit more information about that, how many nail techs I want to have under the professional liability, and then just making sure I understand what services are going to fall under that liability here. You're going to click this box and select agree, and then we're going to continue forward with the quote. So I know this quote was pretty straightforward, depending on what kind of businesses that you're quoting. If it has property coverage, if it is multiple locations, the amount of questions that you'll be asked will change depending on the type of business we're quoting. But for this nail salon, it's pretty straightforward. And for a lot of businesses that we're looking for, I imagine it's going to be pretty straightforward, just like this. So right now, what we're doing right here is we're doing all the calculations on the back end to deliver a quote that we feel very comfortable with and the coverages that we feel comfortable with. Like I said, we're not going to put you all the way through this quoting process and at this step decide that we don't want to offer a quote. We feel comfortable in doing so. That's why we've allowed you to come this far. You'll see here that we have a quote for $1,423 if we want to pay in 4 payments, so 1 upfront payment and 3 installments afterwards. But if you want to choose to pay annually, we do throw a little bit of a discount there. So you'll see the change in price right here.
Hey, Annalise, we
Yep.
got a quick question in that we'll answer on the side. This isn't necessarily an appetite one, but do you have an appetite guide or a one-page marketing flyer you can send out? And we absolutely do. Oh, there goes Dan. Dan, you guys send it to the whole group though. So we've got all kinds of stuff for you, and we'll connect with you here soon. But if anybody else would like a copy of that as well, please don't hesitate to ask, because we are constantly building more and more marketing materials to make it easier for you to sell MGT. But yeah, thanks, Annalise.
Yeah, of course. And after this demo, I'll show you around our website as well, so we can see where those tools are. And so jumping back into the payments right here, you'll see here, this is what we feel comfortable offering based on the information we've given and based on the coverages that we've selected right down here. So all these coverages are what we've selected for the quote. If you decide that you want to add some coverages or maybe change the deductible, let's say I want to have a little bit higher of a deductible, and I want to have identity fraud, $25,000. So I made these changes. All these numbers that you're seeing here are workable numbers. So again, we're not going to let you make adjustments to a quote and then decide we don't want to offer coverage. Everything that we've provided here, we feel comfortable with. So I made a couple adjustments, and I'm going to go ahead and recalculate the quote right here. I imagine that the quote might drop a little bit because I increased my deductible, but we'll see what happens. One thing to note here, yeah, it did drop a little bit, but because we have such a high deductible. So making sure that you find the right coverage for your policyholder is very important, and discussing with them their options if they have any questions about that. So let's say at this point we see this quote and it looks really good. You've quoted it elsewhere, and MGT actually wins the quote because it has the best coverage options for the policyholder. We're going to go ahead and continue with this quote. And at this point, we're taking the quote from a quote status into a bindable policy status. So right here, you can print the quote and send it off to the policyholder so they can take a look at all the questions and coverages in the answers. Or let's say the policyholder has already seen all that information. They're ready to pay. We're ready to get this quote into a policy. We're going to move right down here to confirm and purchase. At this point, there's two ways that this quote can turn into a policy. We can send it to the prospect. What this does, it's going to send an email to the prospect. It's going to have them create their MGT profile. It's going to have them accept the terms and conditions, and then it's going to throw them into the billing page. At that point, once the policyholder makes the payment, that policy is active here at MGT Insurance, or when the effective date is, rather, excuse me. But that is putting the control in the policyholder's hands. When they get that email address or that email from MGT and they create their policies, they're now in control of their policy here at MGT. But let's say the policyholder is on the phone or they're in their office and we're ready to make the purchase. Let's go to purchase now. And what we see here at this purchase page is exactly what the policyholder is going to see if they're making the purchase themselves. So you have the option to pay annually or quarterly, and there's a little bit of discount if the policyholder chooses annually. And then the payment method. So you can do e-check, credit card, or debit card, and put the information right over here. And then we'll click save card. Just so that you know, this is all stored on a third-party payment server, so it is secure. None of this is saved on MGT. We have a third-party payment server that's going to hold all this information and keep it secure for our policyholders. And then we're going to go ahead and scroll right down here and click agree and submit the payment. Once the payment is submitted, it goes into the policies tab as your agent. So I will show what that looks like right here. Let's say I've just purchased that policy right here. I have the nail salon that's going to be here. So we've taken that quote from a 4-step quoting process to a bindable quote at the end. And let's say we've purchased this and we've bound it. So now your policyholder is gotten an email from MGT Insurance to create their profile. So if you make the payment for them, after the payment is made, they get an email telling them to sign into MGT Insurance, create a profile, and accept the terms and conditions. This is a really important piece that you make sure to follow up with your policyholder if you make the purchase for them. The importance of that is they need to accept the terms and conditions and the authorizations just so that we can make sure the policy holder stays intact. They have about 2 weeks to do that after the policy was purchased, and they'll continuously get emails from MGT Insurance reminding them to do so. What I'm going to show you here right now is the self-service portal. So we've done a great job getting this quote into a policy, and now you've done pretty much all the work on your end, and the policyholder can be in control of their policy. So what we're seeing right here is, as a policyholder, once I sign into MGT Insurance with my policy, I see this right here. This is what we call the dashboard. So the policyholder can see their profile. Under the profile, they have things like name, mailing address, email address. The mailing address is something that could be changed on the policyholder's side right here. Mailing address could be changed. It's not a request that needs to be made to us. We can also change the email. Let's say the treasurer or something within the organization changes. We can change the email here. Going back to the account over here, back to the account home, I'm going to show the documents and communications. This is probably the most important page from the policyholder standpoint, where they can see all the information and communication that's been said through with MGT Insurance. So any email that we've sent out to them, you can see that right here. We have the details about the policy right here to the left. And then to the right is where they can create or view the declarations page, or they can create the certificate of insurance. So let's say you're in the middle of a work day, one of your policyholders calls, you know they have an MGT policy, you can kind of just point them to their policy, say, hey, remember we created that profile at MGT, you can sign right in there, go to your documents and communications, and they can create that certificate of insurance all themselves. So this is your policyholders' control. So you definitely enable them and feel that they are empowered to do just that, take control of their policy. So I know I kind of went through that really quick, folks, but does anyone have any questions before I show you our website where you can find tools and appetite guides?
I think you've managed to answer them as they've come across. But yeah, folks, keep tossing those in the chat, and we'll make sure that we get them live as well. But yeah, Annalise, you've been doing a great job answering them live.
Awesome, great. Let me just make sure. Are we seeing our MGT marketing profile?
Yep.
Marketing page. Awesome. So this is our new marketing page. You'll see it. I have it in dark mode right here, so you can have it in light mode. Sean's done just such a great job on this website here. It's really with the agents in mind. So we have right here the BOP appetite. You can click right here. It'll take you straight to that. And then if we scroll right down here, you're going to have just an image right here showing us our national coverage, and then the states that we're working on writing in soon. And then right here, this is the star of the show. This is our appetite agent, Amy. So this is a great tool if you guys get something across your desk and you're not sure if it falls into MGT's appetite and you don't want to go look for the PDF, just come straight to our website and you can ask Amy right here. Can I write, let's write a nail salon in Colorado. And then you'll see right here, Amy's going to let us know, yes, you can write a nail salon in Colorado. And then can I write in California? And then it's going to let you know right here that it's not an appetite. So this is a great tool for you to use within our appetite. Everything about appetite, not coverage. And if at any point, like you see right here, if the agent is not comfortable with answering you, she's going to send you to our support page where someone like me will be able to help and assist you folks. So I know we went through that pretty quick, but that is how we do business here at MGT Insurance. We want to be quick and effective with our policies, in our quotes, and with our technology. So I know if you folks have any questions or concerns or something doesn't seem to be working right, get in contact with us because we're really here to make this experience as best as possible. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen, see if we got any questions. Awesome. Thanks, folks. Yeah, we really appreciate you guys taking the time to chat with us today. And like I said, we're looking to grow, and we are growing. We're releasing classes every few months here. Some big things coming down the way, light restaurants, expanded restaurants. So definitely keep that contact information if you guys have any questions. And like I said, we're really set up for single businesses. So think medical offices, retail offices, professional offices, and then professional services like nail salons and barbershops.
Awesome. Yeah, it's really great to see all the agents come out today. We love having you on these webinars. Great job today, Annalise. If you think of any questions afterward, I just dropped in the chat a bunch of different ways to reach out to us, and we would love to hear from you, just like Annalise said. But yeah, great job. Lovely seeing you all. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks, folks. Have a good one.